A couple of weeks ago, we predicted that Ethereum would bounce back from the downtrend it was heading in the short term. Today, we're going to check back in with it and see exactly where Ethereum is sitting at right now. Let's get into it. How's it going, guys? Ryan here and welcome back to another crypto video. We are once again taking a look at Ethereum's ETH coin today and performing some technical analysis using various indicators such as moving averages, MACD and a few others in order to make some predictions on where we can expect to see Ethereum go in the near future. But before we get into all that good stuff, guys, please remember to leave a thumbs up if you do enjoy today's video. Of course, if you want to see more of this sort of content, hit subscribe and turn on those bell notifications. We cover crypto, stocks, investing, and wealth management. And of course, I'd love to know your thoughts down in the comment section below on where you think ETH is going to be in the near future. But without any further ado, let's jump straight into today's analysis. Welcome into the Ethereum chart, guys. If you're looking to buy ETH or any other cryptos or just want some free Bitcoin, there are a couple of links down in the description of my video. But let's take a look at ETH. And if you recall, the last video we did was on the 21st of September, and it literally could not have played out any better. This was the lowest point the chart got to, and what we were predicting was a bounce off our key points of support. We'd gotten down all the way here to about $2,641. You can see now we spiked all the way back up to $3,680 and now sitting roughly at $3,458. So really good, and it shows that there is definitely still strength in ETH, especially in the short term. But let's put in a few of those key factors. So first things first, you can see key point of support for us. I reckon this is one which has really reaffirmed itself at 2,730. Plenty of price action in the history, and it has been a key point now over the past few weeks of where we have bounced from previously. So that is, in my opinion, one of the most important points of support that we need to focus on moving forward. So keep that in mind. That's probably our worst case scenario for today's video from a prediction point of view. If we are to drop again, this will be the lowest we theoretically should go. Now, we have continued to move up, and in fact, we have broken through more points of resistance. We've broken through this point right here at roughly 3,150, which was absolutely fantastic, and that was on the 1st of October. And moving up now, we have probably just tested as well another point of resistance up here. I think I could pretty happily say this is sitting about $3,630. So that is really the range we are trading in now. Interestingly enough, you can see that even on these big days that we did see both green and red, we didn't see huge volumes down the bottom here. The volume has gradually been reducing over the period of this month that we have seen, but at least we are moving in the right direction. So overall, looking relatively good from that perspective. As we have bounced just recently off the top end here on a few separate occasions, as you can see, I would not be surprised if we now see this trend either towards at least halfway down, probably about 335 odd, or even lower potentially to that 3,158, 3,160 odd mark. So that's probably our worst case scenario at this point in time. Whilst yes, we do have this point of support here, I don't think we're going to need it. And I think what we're going to see slowly is a shift in momentum from what we have seen in the past. You can see that we're almost back at, these all-time highs. We're not too far off, and the more you zoom out, the more you notice that, hey, potentially there's a bit of a pattern that's formed here, and it looks like it is almost a bit of a cup and handle pattern. So let's put this one in. Cup in this sort of a fashion, and the handle forming itself like this. This basically indicates that we are going to continue in the direction of the trend we're currently moving in. So we're going to continue consolidating in this sort of manner before we hopefully break out in an upwards direction. The cup and handle is relatively reliable, and it's great because not only you do have this cup formation, it is built on obviously the foundations as well of a flag pattern. So the flag you can see is in that sort of a manner, relatively similar as well, but I think the cup fits this scenario a bit better just because it's not like we've gone straight up and then started consolidating sideways. We do have a bit more of a curved shape and rounded at the top of the handle as well. So I think that cup and handle style pattern will come into play, especially now. And ideally we're going to break up and we're going to be breaking towards 3,625. Now, whilst yes, this is our key point of resistance now, this is not going to be my target for today's video. I'm going to be a bit more ambitious. My target for today's video will be a bit higher than this, and it will be probably at about this point here, 3,840 odd. That is, in my opinion, very, very achievable if we do break out. And basically past that point, I think we're going to see the all-time highs tested once again. But 3,840, this is ideally going to be where we start heading once we break through the resistance over here at 3,625. So overall looking pretty good. Now let's bring in a few more other indicators in order to help us work out exactly where we could be going and see if they support our theory and our targets. So we're going to bring in our short-term 20-day moving average, our medium-term 50-day moving average, and of course it's always great to see the longer-term 200-day moving average as well. Now obviously what we are seeing is that this 200-day moving average now sitting at, where is it sitting? It's not actually showing me up here. There we go. It is now sitting at 2,754. So looking really, really good. Now we did see on the 20-day and the 50-day moving average a death cross basically occur where the 20 dropped below the 50, and that was at about this mark at 3,312. But interestingly enough, obviously we discussed that in the last video. We were hoping for the bounce. That seems to be what has happened, and it looks like these are now going to potentially cross once again, but we're going to see that 20-day moving average cross back above the 50-day moving average, creating a golden cross. So just for reference as well, the 20-day moving average at this point in time is sitting at 3,286, and the 50-day moving average is sitting at 3,361. A bit more buying momentum, and I really think we will start to see that cross occur and upwards direction go right towards our target of 3,835 up there. So overall looking really, really good. What you will notice as well is these 2 points will act as key support points now moving forward. You can see obviously with our handle forming from our cup and handle there, this is probably going to be the point at which we reverse and start heading to try and break out of this handle sort of pattern now. So overall looking pretty good from that perspective. Bring in another indicator now. Let's have a look at the MACD. And with the MACD you can see we've had a nice little cross of the 12 and 26 day EMA, the 12 crossing above the 26, indicating a shift in direction. You can see right on that point, that is where we had that big green day on the 1st of October. So I really think that investors or traders are using this as probably a criteria to either enter or exit Ethereum, or maybe it's even just a few large holders are using it as a key point to see a shift in, the momentum. I mean, you're seeing a similar sort of thing. Obviously this drop was because of Bitcoin up here, but as soon as we had the cross below, we saw a big dump in Ethereum. So overall, I reckon that's a relatively reliable indicator for us to look at. So one thing that is something you need to keep in mind, we're seeing a potential cross back downwards of the 12 over the 26 day EMA. If we do see something like that occur, we could be in for another drop. It is definitely a possibility right now, but remains to be seen. Hopefully if we see some, buying volume come in, we break out, particularly if the whole crypto market has a bit of a pump over the next week or so, we might not see that cross occur, but we are coming to the end of our little green spout right there, unfortunately. But as you can see in history, these tend to, go for these sort of periods of time, but then if there is red, it's only more consolidation. So I don't think we're probably going to see too much red if we do see some red, but I really think we need to see some buying volume come in to support the overall price of ETH. Let's bring in now as well the relative strength index. And I don't think this will show much, and it really doesn't. 53.79 is where it's currently sitting at, due to the fact that there hasn't been actually that much buying volume. We're not seeing that this is being pushed, right up into the overbought area over 70. In fact, the increase is relatively minor, relatively stable, and seems to be following the value of ETH very, very well, which is relatively good. I mean, where we were from the 21st of September last time we looked at this, 34.66, we did peak all the way up to 60.45, but we are now dipped down to 53.79, which is basically at the middle. So there is plenty of room for us to move in an upwards direction if we do break out. But as always, guys, keep in mind the target for today's video. It's going to be this mark here, 3,835, and ideally what we need to do is first crack this 3,625 mark to get there. Now that wraps up the analysis for today's ETH video. Guys, if you did enjoy it, make sure you leave a like and let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below on ETH. Do you think we're going to be able to hit our targets for today's video, and if so, in what sort of a time frame? Of course, as well, if you do want to see more of this sort of content, make sure you hit subscribe and turn on those bell notifications. We cover crypto, stocks, investing, and wealth management. But I'm going to leave it there for today, guys. I hope you have an awesome day. I'll see you next time. Cheers.